Welcome to Carol's Journey. Today we're honored to have a special guest, the First Lady of Disco, Carol Douglas from Midnight Love Affair, and her friend of 40 years, her hairstylist and cosmetologist, Miss Ferran Chambly. Now, one of the things that we would like to do is to talk about the illustrious career that Miss Carol Douglas had during her 40 years. And we're going to get into a very informal conversation as we sit down and talk about it. One of the things I would like to know is, how did you get started?
Well, Carol, first I'd like to thank you for having me on. And I got started, I would say 40 years ago, when I auditioned for my record. Well, let's get into the beginning of my career mostly, because I was a child star, actress, performer, won the Apollo at the age of 10, named that tune, and I was on the Revlon Review. And back in the beginning, I think I felt a little low of self-esteem because of being black, and everybody kept calling me black, even the N-word, I must say, even from my record producers and stuff, you know, and I had to kind of like swallow it and keep going and say, yes, you're black and proud. I had to make myself get adjusted to the negative talk that they were saying to me, because I never sounded black. And that's how I got the record deal. I didn't know that I sound a color, and I was always feeling very low and not being positive with myself as a child.
Well, I want to ask you, how did you meet Ferran Chambly?
Well, when I had 2 albums out already. I had a 5-year record deal contract with my record company, and some friends of mine, as a matter of fact, my husband, who's deceased now, had some friends who were getting their hair and makeup done in Manhattan at Franklin Simon on 34th Street. And they said, you've got to meet this young lady named Ferran. And I was so impressed. I said, well, now I know I'll be together, because she's doing white ladies' hair, Caucasian, if you want to say, but we use white and black now. And they said, you've got to meet Ferran. And I met her, and that was the beginning of our beautiful relationship, of her doing my hair and makeup and getting the pleasure of doing my album covers for me. 3 out of my 6.
Ferran, what was it like traveling with Carol Douglas? I know you went to Europe.
Oh, it was very exciting. The first time I actually went out of the country was with Carol Douglas to Paris, France. It was like, something that I've never experienced before. The difference in our time, and Champs-Elysees, which I can recall, you know, the fabulous shopping spree, and just seeing the clothes, the fashions, the hairstyles, everything so far in advance, you know, than it is over here in the USA. But it was quite an experience. The hotel, the Scribe, I remember that's where we stayed. I remember, you know, them laying our clothes out at night. When it's time to go to bed, they would have everything ready for you. Something quite different. Is an experience I'll never forget. Thanks to Miss Douglas.
Well, you know, I want to hold up an album. This is one of the albums, I think, that Miss Ferran Chambly did the makeup for. And this album is, I believe, it's only purchased in Europe.
Yes.
Right. And this was, what's the name of this album?
Well, this is the best of. So I had already made, I would say, maybe, when she did, Ferran did 3 out of my 6, so the 3rd album, so this would be the 4th. When I went, they said, oh, now you have the best of Carol Douglas because you've done so many songs. Europe decided to say, hey, let's make her the best of, and that's the cover that they selected from the photo shoot, hair and makeup done by her.
Okay. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do, probably when we break, I want to get into the details of a biography on Carol Douglas. Now, I understand you have a picture of a performance that you did when you was 13 years old. And I just want to hold this up here.
Yes.
And show this little picture. Now,
that's the actual television show CBS, the Revlon Review, with Mickey Rooney himself.
Okay.
And what's so magical about that picture, never knowing the young lady that was on the show with me, she was a French star, and her name was Patricia. And my producers went over years later and selected Midnight Love Affair. And she gave birth to the son who my producer went over and got the song from, never knowing that this was going to happen in the future.
Wow.
And Midnight Love Affair was my second hit.
Oh, wow.
And she was a French star, very big, named Patricia. And that's how I got Midnight Love Affair. Midnight Love Affair was a ballad. It was never a big disco song. So my producer upgraded the tempo, and that's how we got Midnight Love Affair.
Well, what was it like living in Paris? I understand you lived in Paris for like 3 years.
Oh, I loved it. I was treated like a queen. I shopped. Everyone. I thought I was a queen, even though I was a first lady. Not being, Gloria Gaynor. She is a disco queen. Her and Donna Summer used to go through a battle with that. So I said, I'll just make myself the first lady. It's not really anything to go all crazy about. But they treated me so well there. All the designers. I have an original Yves Saint Laurent gown. They were chasing all the designers because all the boutiques are in Paris. They originated there. And now the designers are coming to my hotel with clothes. We wear my Charles Jourdan. I mean, I actually met the real designers running after me because I was going to be on television, and they wanted me to wear their gowns. So I said, you know what? I'll take one of everything. Since I'm going to be here for 3 years, you all will be happy. So that was one of the great feelings of knowing that I wore more than one famous designer's outfits back in the day, which we had the new iPhones and cell phones, so you could see those beautiful gowns. I do have the Yves Saint Laurent put away.
Oh, wow.
I have to wear that at one of my up-and-coming performances. So that was an honor.
Well, how do you feel about today's music?
Mixed feelings about it. Some things I like. I don't dislike anyone's performances. I look at Beyonce. I look at so many great performers. Nicki Minaj. There's more. I would say Beyonce's more pop, and now we have Nicki Minaj with the hip hop. I think it's wonderful for someone to generate their talent to the world and show everyone what they have going for them. So that's why I don't dislike any of the new music. I love it all.
Well, do you know now there seems to be a rebirth where people are going back and looking at the music of yesterday?
Yes.
I understand that there's movies out on some of the old stars. I believe, let me just try to think. We were talking about that earlier. They're doing a movie with there was a movie or a TV show with the
New Edition.
New Edition, right.
The Jackson 5 did theirs.
Right,
New Edition is doing theirs.
Right.
And that's kind of nice.
I understand. And then I saw on one of the shows that they're bringing back, and they're doing a movie on Whitney Houston and everything.
I was very honored to have Whitney's mom sing on the back of my album.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay, so we're bringing out some of the meat.
Yes.
We're pulling it out here.
I met her when she was 19 before. She said, oh, my daughter, I was performing at a club in Manhattan called Sweetwater's.
Oh,
and
yes.
Yes, I was at Sweetwater's, and I was coming in the next week, and Sissy came to my sound check, and she says, oh, I want you to meet my daughter, Whitney, and she was so beautiful. She was a young, thin, attractive young lady and got all glamorous at the age of 19. I met her, and she went on to be, one of our most successful female artists, and I listen to her all the time. And of course, when I listen to myself, I'll always have her mother in the background.
Well, we're kindred spirits because I did a show at Sweetwater's.
Oh, okay.
I love that place.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. That was really nice.
Really nice place.
And the thing about it is, we're missing some of the old places. I used to go to Leviticus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you performed there.
Oh, I opened Studio 54, as a matter of fact.
I was at Studio 54. I was that
I
was that little black child up on that bridge dancing.
And I was a little black lady on stage.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And I have a story to tell about that.
times.
Gloria Gaynor and I opened Studio 54 together. We had the same manager at the time. So he had us there the same night. And when we came out the dressing room, we had on the exact same outfit. And she says, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, what are you going to do? I didn't know what to say. And then all of a sudden they said, Carol Douglas to the stage. I said, now you got to go home and change. Well, we're still friends. I love
Right.
Gloria. She's such a talented person.
Well, we're going to wrap this up right now. We're going to go to a break.
Okay.
And after the break, we're going to get down to the meat of things.
Oh, I love
I
that.
got a list of questions I want to ask you.
Okay.
Okay. We're back to Carol Journey TV, and I hope you enjoyed the little performance that we showed you on Carol Douglas, and we're back to have a detailed discussion with Miss Douglas. Okay, I want to hold up, this I believe is your first album,
Yes, it is.
and can you give us a little bit of history behind this album here?
Well, Carol, it's so funny. I laugh every time I think about me being in the subway and not even knowing that that was a poster in the subway, because people thought that I was, when I first recorded, when I got my record deal, he says, oh, wow, we're going to make money off this little black girl. She sounds like us. They kept asking me, did I know Aretha? Did I know songs by Stephanie? I says, oh no, but I know Barbara Streisand and Tony Bennett. You know, I studied, I had a Broadway background because of my mom. So the record company had to put up the poster to let the world know that I was a black artist. And that's what they did. They put, I never knew. I was standing right in front of it one day. The lady goes, is that you? And I'm like, yeah, you know, like a regular passenger.
Right.
And I said, me? And I turned around and I saw this giant poster of this cover.
Right.
And I said, oh my God, I won't be able to ride the
How
trains
old
anymore.
were you at the time?
Well, I was in my 30s. Early, I was a housewife and a mom, never thinking I would be a recording artist because I got out of the business for a while and raised my family, my first two sons. And then I went and auditioned, and the rest is history. Here I am.
Okay. Now, what can you tell me about this photo right here?
Wow, I was a tap dancer. Little did everyone know. I was a tap dancer. I studied with Henry Latang and Oliver McCool, who also taught Gloria Gaynor, and Henry Latang and that was my first professional photo shoot. And my mother wanted everyone to know I could tap, so she said, "Oh, you got to put your leotard on for this one."
And I understand that you had the same tap teacher as Gregory Hines?
Yes, Mr. Henry Latang.
Yes. Okay. Now, I'd like to ask you about the Hurricane. I understand that Hurricane was nominated for a Grammy Award?
No, it was Burning.
Right.
My record Burning. This is the album cover.
Oh, okay.
This is the album from Burning. I was pregnant with my third child, and I didn't want to take the cover because I had toxemia and I was a little swollen, but that's the album I was nominated for a Grammy with in 1978, the Carol Douglas Burning album, and that was nominated for a Grammy at that year.
Oh, very good. Who was Midland Music?
Midland International was my record company,
Oh.
subsidiary of RCA.
Oh, I see. Okay. And they were the company that was behind the music, Hurricane?
Okay. Hurricane Coming Tonight.
Right.
That was one of the songs on this particular album, A Hurricane Is Coming Tonight. Yes, that's Midland International. And my producer was Mr. Eddie O'Loughlin. And he's the one that selected all of my music for me.
Right. Now, what I need to ask you now is, what would it be like? What was it like touring and getting bookings at the different shows, staying at the hotels and stuff like that?
I was
Give me
employing
a
like
look.
16 people at that time, and I had to fly everyone, pay everyone, and it was a job. But my husband at the time he's deceased now, I was married to him, and he used to be the road manager, and he used to take care of all the important business things for me. So it was exciting. You know, I just had such a big entourage, and I wasn't used to that, and I had to get used to it. And Varan was there to make me look beautiful at all the shows, changing hairstyles and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, what was the difficult part? Because right now we're talking about the peaches and cream, but what about the nitty gritty in terms of the business and stuff?
Well, we were getting back to that prejudice thing, certain songs, or don't sing, I'd sing, I would even record in the studio, they're telling me, oh, don't put that little riff in there, that sounds too black. And I'm like, well, that's what I am, because they would make me, change up the way I was singing because they knew I had that in me and they didn't want it on practically any of these albums, especially the first two and the third.
Right.
And the fourth, because I had 6 albums. Every time I would go in the studio, I'm like, sometimes I'd be in tears and I would go in the bathroom and cry, like, why are they trying to make me not be black?
Right.
So that was the difficult part of that. The traveling was nice, and you had to go to hotels, and you lived out of a suitcase, and you had to eat different foods from different countries, going all over the world. And I got the #1 album in Japan, and I've never performed there even yet because you're traveling so much. So they sent me the award in the mail.
Right. Oh, wow.
So that was an experience. And so maybe one day I'll get a chance to visit Japan, and I'll be having a good, because they never forget I had the bestseller of the album of that year, 1976.
Well, when did you start to see a change in the attitudes in terms of the
Well, I would say
companies?
in the 80s. In the 80s, my record producer, he was a vice president of Midland, which became Mid-Song International. And he started his own company, Next Plateau, who had Salt and Pepper, Sybil, Sharon Brown, and different hip-hop artists. So things started changing then, but my contract was up, so I still didn't get a chance to record a song. But then in the end, another album cover that Veron did called Come Into My Life. He says, oh, well, now I have your black producers for you, and now you'll finally sound black. And I'm like, why is he telling me this? But then I was kind of glad because it was Evelyn Champagne King's producers, and I knew I was going to get that black song.
Evelyn Champagne King.
Yes, John Fitz and Reuben Cross.
Oh,
they
wow.
produced my album in '79.
Right.
And I said, wow, I'm going to sing this. I'm going to show my black talent now. So that was really something that I really had to hold inside of me for so many years. And finally I got in the studio and just blasted it out.
Right.
And
Well, I remember the first time I saw you, you had did a TV show, and I can't remember what it was.
was it Soul Train, American Bandstand, Midnight Special?
No.
I've done those shows.
Yeah, it was, it might have been, no, it wasn't Soul Train. It was a TV special.
Okay. Oh, that was the PBS special. PBS special in 2006. I did a PBS special with a live orchestra.
Right.
And Mr. DeVerne Williams, who's Carol Williams, she was friends also. Her son was a musical director. He got that band together too. We taped that, I think, in New Jersey, in Asbury Park. That was a nice experience because I got a chance to meet Cousin Brucey.
Oh my goodness! Yes,
Cousin Brucey.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cousin
wow.
Brucey. So you know,
Right.
and I was also when I was a teenager, I forgot that I won the talented. Thank you, Hal Jackson. For I was a
yes.
runner-up in the talented semifinals. Hal Jackson's Talented Teens. I won
Right.
that in Atlantic City, and I forgot to put that in my bio, but that's why I'm telling you now.
Well,
Thanks
we
to
have
Hal
to throw
Jackson.
in. I have to throw in Duke Baldwin, okay?
And Frankie Crocker.
And Frankie. Oh, I went to school with Frankie.
Oh
Crocker.
wow! Well, if
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't
don't
for
want to
him,
date myself.
if it wasn't for him, Doctor's
Right.
Orders wouldn't be a hit. He's the one that
Right.
played it on the black station
That's
and made that
right.
record happen. And
Right,
because
right.
of him is why
Yeah.
it happened.
Yeah, I don't want to date myself. I remember Frankie Crocker. I was a freshman in high school, and he was a senior.
Okay.
Yes. And he used to date my girlfriend a long time ago.
Oh, I hear that.
Oh my goodness, we have so much in common.
I know.
And we're the same sign.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay, that's very
And
good.
the same name.
And the same name. That's right. Well, where do we go from here? What's your plans for the future?
Well, right now, as far as the industry, because I'm also still a mom and grandma. I have 8 grandchildren, 3 sons, and I like to cook, I like to bake, but most of all, the performing, I'm looking forward to going back live with my band. I'm getting back into live performance now. That's what I'm doing.
Right. Well, I'm hoping that on our future show, because I plan to interview you again, I will give the guests the opportunity to see Carol Douglas live.
Oh, wow, that would be
I'm
wonderful.
looking forward to
Oh,
that.
thank you so
Yes,
much. That would be
yes, yes.
lovely.
I heard your voice, and I think I heard it on one of the internet channels, and you got a beautiful voice.
Thank you so much.
And you know your voice hasn't changed.
Thank you.
It
Thank you
hasn't
so
changed at all.
I'm so surprised. People say, you sound exactly like when I do my shows now, track
Yeah.
dates and clubs and
Right.
concerts. They say, you sound exactly like the record. I said,
That-
I've been very
exactly.
blessed. And I
Exactly.
studied, thank you for my vocal teacher, Mr. Donald Haywood. He's also in the, George Henry Haywood, he's in the Hall of Fame. He taught Ethel Waters, Lena Horne,
Oh, my
Leslie
goodness.
Uggams, and then me.
Oh wow!
So I had a
wow.
very good vocal coach, breathing control and all
Right.
of that. So right at the Ed Sullivan Theater, right upstairs, is
Oh,
where
wow.
I studied my vocal training.
Oh wow, that's very good.
Thank you.
Now, what advice would you have for the young performer who's trying to get out there and make it big in the music industry?
Well, first of all, don't sign nothing. Don't sign anything. Always pick, if you're going to audition for something, always pick the song that you like, that you sing the best, unless it's someone tells you, we'd like to hear this, select. It's always what you audition with is gonna kind of like people to hear your voice, the high notes, the low notes, because so many people have different voices and different looks. Try not to let people change you, but so much. But always try to give your best performance when you're out here struggling in the business to try to make it. That would be a song that people say, oh, I love, if you're doing something in church, gospel, whatever, sing the best song that you feel comfortable in because your personality comes out in the song. And that's the advice, and don't let anyone shyster you, here, sign this, or, tell you kind of what to do. Always have a legal attorney.
Right, right.
That would definitely help you on your way
Right.
to your success.
Well, another question that someone asked me about, what as a performer, what do you have to have as part of your team? You have to have a manager.
Yes.
You have to have a legal attorney,
Yes.
a stylist.
Stylist, makeup artist.
That's right.
Right.
And
And a road manager also,
Road
road
manager,
manager.
yeah, right,
road manager,
right.
because you're not going to be able to do, you become successful in this big hit
Right.
records out here, and here you are, boom, you're a superstar. You're, starting in the industry, you've got a record that's climbing the charts, and you don't know what to do. So you're going to have a lot of people working with you. You have to have a little team.
and I imagine that you have to have a promotional person.
Yes,
To do
PR
the promotion,
person, yes.
to do the promotions and everything. And then one of the things I noticed, I saw all of your songs on iTunes.
Wow.
Yes,
And
iTunes.
recently, I just did Donna Summer remake on Heaven Knows.
But they're
That's-
all on Apple iTunes.
Okay.
So for my audience, if you want more Carol Douglas, go to iTunes, Apple. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, very good. And then like I said, I plan on having a continuation of this. We're going to do Carol Douglas live.
Oh,
We're
that'll
going
be
to have
wonderful.
a performance and have you do a performance there.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I'd
Okay.
really like to thank God for my mom. She's the one that got me into business, because that's why I wanted to name that tune as a little girl, because I would listen to all those songs that she used to perform in big band, because she was the lead singer for Cootie Williams.
Oh, yes. And
At the
I just
Apollo.
remembered one other thing. She was Minnie the Moocher. with
Yes, Cab Calloway. That
Calloway.
was her stage name.
That's-
And Cab wrote about her.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you very much for listening and coming in and viewing Carol Journey TV. And I want to thank you again, Miss Carol Douglas, for the interview.
Oh, thank you so
and
much.
I hope to work with you in the future.
Thank you. I have something special for you
Okay.
that I want to do. Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying, Carol. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll see that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. I used to sing that to my mom, and I wanted to sing it for you.
Okay, thank you.